All right, good morning. Welcome to Monday, a new week ahead of us, and we're still working on that literary essay. I've got my helper in the background there who just told me I'm mean. Can you believe that? I'm not mean. I'm not mean at all.
Yeah,
anyway, I won't let him play with his DS this morning. I know, cruel and unusual punishment here. Okay, so I'm looking at literary essay, and this week, obviously we're working towards that paper. Each unit is a workshop towards sorry, hard to keep a straight face, towards the paper that's going to culminate at the end of the workshop, okay? So last week we read and kind of laid the foundation for the paper, and you discussed it in discussion board. Great job on that, by the way. This week you are going to get into the analysis, and I kind of introduced this last week and said you might want to take a glance. Some of you might find yourself doing a little bit of a rereading. Don't encourage you necessarily to go through and read it like you did the first time. Now what I want you to do is pick out the piece that sticks out to you the most at what you want to really work on, and do the analysis worksheet for the writing that you're most interested in writing about. Again, this is, or responding to rather, this is going to be the piece that is your source for this time. You're not going to use outside sources. This is all from what's up in your mind about writing. And this analysis worksheet, which is exercise 3.2, hopefully will give you some ammunition to start thinking about how to respond to literature. Some of you, this is a very easy thing because maybe you had an English teacher in high school that really had you discussing literature often, and you remember those terms and you can pull that stuff out. Others of you, this might be a little bit more uncomfortable territory because it is more literature based. I want to help you and give you the tools that I can for this. Next week then we'll be writing our essay. By the way, I know that you're still waiting, some of you, about 6 of you are still waiting for essay responses back from me from the last one, and that's my goal today, is to get those back to you. So do be looking in your assignment drop boxes. I always attach back a very commented up sheet back to. I try not to bleed all over your paper. Please read the comments. A lot of them are positive. A lot of them are questions back to you or suggestions for future writing. And we do want to keep in mind what you've done in the past and kind of let it snowball to the future so you're constantly improving your writing throughout this course. At the end of the course, hopefully you'll be a more confident writer. Maybe that's the best word, because I'm hearing a lot of you say, I'm a little insecure in this, and I can relate with that. As a writer, there's often times where you're putting yourself out there on paper, and it's tricky. It's tricky to do that. Next week, I'll give you kind of some summative feedback to the whole class, reminding you of some things you want to keep in mind as you're writing your next paper. But for this week, just enjoy that analysis process. Let yourself turn over in your mind ideas about responding to a story or poem of your choice from this section. Okay, have a good week. If you have questions, let me know. Oh, you know what? One side thought. I don't know why I'm a little distracted today, but my distraction left the room for a moment. So, a side comment on the worksheet itself. Try to fill. It's going to benefit you to fill out every question. I know I leave it optional on some of them, and some will not fit as well as others. But if you can't think of a response to a question, sit on it for a day and go back to the worksheet and see if maybe something comes up. A lot of you mentioned, I came up with this idea while I was sleeping, or, I woke up and thought of this, or I was eating dinner and thought of this. That's what I want you to do. I want you to kind of carry these ideas with you throughout the day and allow yourself to be watching the news and say, you know what, that applies to what I just read. Or be talking to your kids about something and think, oh, wait, this works. Or be in another course among other classmates talking about some science project or social studies or nursing or whatever you're doing right now, and maybe draw your life into what you're reading and get ideas and inspirations from that. Have a great week, and hopefully the sun keeps shining. Bye-bye.